Mariano Rivera. Just hearing that name sent chills down the spines of opposing hitters in the ninth inning.
It was not fun facing Mariano.
Mariano Rivera, in this, the year of the home run, especially in the American League. And a called strike three.
The Sandman. The man who turned comebacks into pipe dreams and late-game rallies into funeral processions. We all remember the entrance music echoing through Yankee Stadium, the pristine pinstripes, and that devastating cutter that made Hall of Fame hitters look like they were swinging pool noodles. But as his legend grows larger with each passing year, we sometimes lose sight of what Rivera truly accomplished during his playing days.
Strike three, ball game over, and the Yankees win. Put it on the left side.
One out, nobody on the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out with high heat.
The numbers are absolutely staggering. 652 career saves, a 2.21 ERA, and 5 World Series championships. We remember the highlights, closing out the 2009 World Series, those iconic postseason moments.
Shattered bat, diving stop to Shera. He continues to dazzle with his glove.
But we forget the incredible journey that got him there. How did a skinny fisherman's son from Panama who threw 87-mile-per-hour fastballs become the greatest closer in baseball history? How did he perfect a single pitch so devastatingly effective that even when hitters knew it was coming, they still couldn't touch it? And how did the humble kid who signed for pocket change become the first player in baseball history to receive every single Hall of Fame vote? Well, it's time to relive the legend of baseball's most dominant closer. When the New York Yankees signed Mariano Rivera in February 1990, the baseball world didn't exactly stop to take notice. Rivera was a skinny 20-year-old from Puerto Comito, Panama, whose fastball barely touched 87 miles per hour. Growing up as the son of a fisherman, Rivera had learned to play baseball with tree branches for bats and cardboard milk cartons for gloves. It wasn't exactly the background of a future legend.
The interesting thing to me is if you have a piece of paper, I like to he can show you how to make a glove out of a paper bag.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
carton board.
That to me,
You have to be a
piece of cardboard. That to me is just, that's incredible. I mean,
Yankee scout Herb Rayborn discovered Rivera during a tryout in Panama. What caught his eye wasn't Rivera's velocity, because frankly, there wasn't much to write home about, but rather his smooth mechanics and obvious competitive fire. The Yankees signed him for a signing bonus that sources report as $3,000, less money than some players spend on a single dinner. Rivera spent his early professional years grinding it out in the minor leagues as a starting pitcher. He showed flashes of potential, but also dealt with concerning injury issues. In 1992, he underwent elbow surgery. While it wasn't a full Tommy John surgery, many in the organization wondered if this skinny kid from Panama would ever make it to the big leagues. But something remarkable happened during Rivera's recovery. As he worked his way back from surgery, his fastball velocity jumped from the mid-80s to the mid-90s. Suddenly, people were paying attention to this young Panamanian pitcher who was absolutely dominating minor league hitters.
Spot is taken.
Rivera made his major league debut on May 23, 1995, as a starting pitcher against the California Angels. It was not a fairy tale beginning. He lasted only 3.1 innings, allowing 5 runs and 8 hits, including a crushing 3-run homer to Jim Edmonds in what became a 10-0 Yankees loss. Hardly the stuff of legends. For most of that rookie season, Rivera struggled mightily in the starting rotation, posting a bloated 5.51 ERA. The Yankees front office was beginning to wonder if they'd made a mistake with their Panamanian project. Rivera looked like he might become just another organizational arm who never quite made it. Then came October 1995, and everything changed. With the Yankees making their first playoff appearance since 1981, manager Buck Showalter made a crucial decision. He moved Rivera to the bullpen. In Rivera's first postseason appearance, he pitched 3.1 scoreless innings against the Seattle Mariners, striking out 5 batters and looking completely unhittable. For the first time, the baseball world caught a glimpse of what was coming.
and Rivera has done it better than anybody in baseball.
The 1996 season marked Rivera's transformation from struggling starter to dominant setup man, working primarily in the 7th and 8th innings ahead of closer John Wetland. Rivera was absolutely electric. He posted an 8-3 record with a sparkling 2.09 ERA, striking out 130 batters in just 107.2 innings. Hitters seemed completely baffled by his rising four-seam fastball. But it was during this season that Rivera discovered the pitch that would define his entire career. And it happened completely by accident. While playing catch before a game in Detroit, Rivera noticed something strange. His fastball was moving in an unusual way, cutting sharply toward his glove side. His teammates were having trouble catching it. What started as an unintentional mechanical quirk would soon become the most feared pitch in baseball. As Rivera experimented with his grip, he found that by slightly adjusting his finger placement, he could make his fastball dart 6 to 8 inches at the last second. The pitch looked identical to a fastball coming out of his hand, but it would suddenly cut away from right-handed hitters or jam left-handed batters. Even better, he could throw it for strikes with surgical precision.
The 1-2. Strike three, ball game over, and the Yankees win. Put it on the left side as the Yankees take 2 out of 3.
When John Wetland left via free agency after the 1996 World Series championship, the Yankees faced a crucial decision. Who would handle the pressure of closing games in New York? Many questioned whether the soft-spoken Rivera had the mental makeup to succeed in baseball's most pressure-packed role. Those doubts vanished quickly. In his first season as the Yankees' full-time closer in 1997, Rivera converted 43 saves with a stellar 1.88 ERA. But this was just the appetizer. What followed was an unprecedented run of dominance that redefined what it meant to be a closer. From 1997 to 2007, Rivera saved at least 28 games every single season, posting an ERA under 3 in all but one of those years. But what truly separated Rivera from every other closer wasn't just his regular season excellence, it was his postseason performance.
Swung on a miss, he struck him out.
While other closers crumbled under October pressure, Rivera seemed to get better when the lights were brightest. His career postseason ERA of .7 remains the lowest in baseball history among pitchers with at least 30 innings pitched. The 1998 season showcased Rivera at his absolute peak. The Yankees won a then American League record 114 games, and Rivera was a massive reason why. He saved 36 games with a microscopic 1.91 ERA, striking out 36 batters in 61.1 innings while walking just 17. In the postseason, Rivera was even more dominant as the Yankees swept their way through October. Culminating in a World Series championship. When Rivera jogged in from the bullpen, the game was essentially over. What made Rivera's cutter so devastating wasn't just the movement, it was the mental warfare. Every hitter in the league knew exactly what pitch was coming. Rivera threw his cutter roughly 85 to 90% of the time, especially in crucial situations. Yet somehow, they still couldn't hit it consistently. The pitch would appear to be heading right down the middle of the plate, then dart away at the last possible second. Right-handed hitters would swing over it. Left-handed batters would hit weak ground balls or harmless pop-ups. The broken bats became Rivera's signature. Yankees equipment managers joked they needed to order extra lumber whenever Rivera was pitching. Hall of Fame hitters openly admitted their struggles against Rivera's cutter. Ken Griffey Jr. once described hitting against Rivera as trying to hit a ghost. Frank Thomas called it impossible to time. When Rivera got ahead in the count with 2 strikes, the at-bat was essentially over. From 1997 to 2013, he struck out nearly 60% of batters who reached a 2-strike count, meaning once he got you to 0-2, 1-2, or 2-2, you were probably heading back to the dugout. The late 1990s and early 2000s represented the golden age of Yankees baseball, and Rivera served as the exclamation point on their success. From 1996 to 2000, the Yankees won 4 World Series championships in 5 years, with Rivera serving as their closer for the final 4 titles. The 2000 postseason might have been Rivera's finest hour. He appeared in 8 games, pitched 11.2 innings, and allowed 0 earned runs. Not one. In the Subway Series against the Mets, Rivera closed out games 1, 4, and 5, earning the save in the championship-clinching victory at Shea Stadium. During this championship run, Rivera developed an almost supernatural reputation. His mere presence on the mound would deflate opposing rallies before they could even begin. When Enter Sandman, which began being used in 1999, started blaring through the stadium speakers, 50,000 Yankees fans would rise to their feet, knowing they were about to witness greatness. Even legends have their human moments, and for Rivera, that moment came on November 4, 2001, Game 7 of the World Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rivera had pitched 2 perfect innings in relief, preserving the Yankees' 2-1 lead, 3 outs away from another championship. Then came the bottom of the 9th inning, and baseball reminded everyone why it's the cruelest of games. Mark Grace led off with a single to center. Damian Miller attempted to sacrifice bunt, but popped it up foul. It should have been an easy out, but Rivera made an uncharacteristic error, throwing the ball wildly into center field while trying to get the lead runner. Suddenly, 2 men were on base with nobody out. Jay Bell successfully bunted the runners into scoring position. Tony Womack doubled home the tying run.
Womack delivers. It's 2-2.
Then Luis Gonzalez stepped to the plate and blooped a single just over Derek Jeter's head to win the World Series for Arizona. Rivera was devastated. He later called it the most painful moment of his career, taking full responsibility for the loss. But even in defeat, he handled the situation with the same class and dignity that defined his entire career. He congratulated the Diamondbacks, answered every reporter's question, and used the heartbreak as fuel for what was to come. The 2001 World Series loss might have broken a lesser pitcher, but Rivera used it as motivation. He continued his dominant run well into his 30s and 40s, an age when most closers have long since declined or retired. His 2004 season was one of his finest, 53 saves with a 1.94 ERA at age 34. Rivera continued his remarkable consistency at age 41, showing no signs of decline in his devastating cutter. The 2009 World Series provided Rivera with the redemption he had sought for 8 long years. Once again, he found himself on the mound in a potential championship-clinching game, this time facing the Philadelphia Phillies at the new Yankee Stadium. This time, there'd be no blown save, no heartbreak. Rivera induced Shane Victorino to ground out to second baseman Robinson Cano for the final out, ending the series and finally earning that elusive 5th championship ring. Rivera announced before the 2013 season that it would be his last, setting off perhaps the most touching farewell tour in sports history. In every ballpark across America, Rivera was honored by opposing teams and fans alike. Even bitter rivals like the Red Sox gave him standing ovations at Fenway Park. The emotions reached their peak during Rivera's final appearance at Yankee Stadium on September 26, 2013. Manager Joe Girardi sent Derek Jeter and Andy Pettitte, Rivera's longtime teammates and closest friends, to remove him from the game. As Rivera walked off the mound for the final time at the stadium, he broke down in tears, overcome by the moment and the thunderous appreciation of 50,000 fans. His final statistics were nothing short of staggering. 652 saves, a 2.21 ERA, 1,173 strikeouts, and 5 World Series championships. He converted 89.2 of his save opportunities, the highest percentage in baseball history. But perhaps most impressively, Rivera accomplished all this with essentially one pitch that everyone knew was coming. On January 22, 2019, Rivera received the phone call every baseball player dreams of. He had been elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and he had achieved something no player before him ever had. You are the first person. Unanimous selection. all 425 voters selected Rivera on their ballots, making him the first player in baseball history to receive 100% of the Hall of Fame vote. The unanimous selection was fitting for a player who commanded universal respect throughout his career. Even bitter rivals acknowledged Rivera's greatness. David Ortiz, who battled Rivera countless times in Yankees-Red Sox games, once said, "He's the best closer that ever lived. And he's gonna be the best closer that will ever live." What made Mariano Rivera so special? It wasn't just the statistics, though they're certainly otherworldly. It wasn't just the championships, though 5 World Series rings speak volumes. It was the way he carried himself, with quiet confidence, unwavering professionalism, and genuine humility that never wavered regardless of the situation. Rivera proved that you don't need to throw 100 miles per hour or have a dozen different pitches to dominate major league hitters. Sometimes perfecting one pitch and commanding the strike zone with surgical precision is enough. His cutter became a work of art, a pitch so perfectly executed that it transcended baseball and became something beautiful to watch, even for opposing fans. Rivera's legacy extends far beyond the numbers. He redefined what it meant to be a closer, turning the 9th inning into appointment television. He showed that greatness isn't always about raw talent. Sometimes it's about perfecting your craft, maintaining your composure, and treating everyone with respect. When will we see another closer save 650-plus games? When will we see another pitcher posting a 2.25 ERA over nearly 1,200 innings? When will we see another player receive unanimous Hall of Fame selection? When will we see another player win 5 World Series championships as a closer? The answer is simple. We won't. The skinny kid from Panama who signed for a few $1,000s became the greatest closer in baseball history, a 5-time champion, and a gentleman who represented the game with unmatched class. In a sport often defined by controversy and conflict, Mariano Rivera stood as a beacon of excellence and dignity. There will never be another Sandman. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and comment to us to know who you want to hear about next. Subscribe for more legendary baseball stories every week. This is Inside Baseball, where we bring you the best of the game.